Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And just wanted to do a video here on a comment that was left. Now, this was a video that I had done. This is probably a long time ago. I don't even remember how long ago this was. It was 3 years ago. Damn. But I did a response here. I believe this was a response, to the elder Manatas Akbar's video here. Titled GMS was right. I want to leave WFI. So a couple of days ago, there was a comment that was left here by EJ8880. And he says, I'm currently going through this situation. I was out on the highways and byways doing the work with the WFI camps in Las Vegas and Fresno, CA. Recently, I started watching GMS, and when I heard the breakdown on the Motb, it made perfect sense, very plain and clear to me. So knew my time was definitely up with WFI. Now I'm trying to join GMS. I'm located in Fresno, CA, and I wanted to know if there are any brothers out here and what the process is to join. I've learned a lot from the GMS South Carolina brother. I believe he's referring to the elder Manatas Akbar. And I'm doing my best to correct the faulty breakdowns I was previously taught so I can come into the 100% truth. Lord willing, brothers can help guide me. So, first is, all praises to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, right? That you have, and I'm sure it's not just, you. Pretty sure there are others out there who might not be as vocal, about the situation that they're in, but, the water Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, right? Thank the Lord for opening your eyes so that you can see the truth, right? The correct truth, because, practically speaking, sometimes being with a certain, like he said, he was on the highways and byways with him, right? So being in a certain camp, for a long time, you can start to have that internal conflict within yourself where it's like, damn, how do I leave? Haven't been here for, X amount of months or years, but a part of me feels like it doesn't feel right in my spirit because I know that what's being taught here concerning this subject isn't correct. It just doesn't make sense. But, I'm kind of like conflicted. Well, like this brother said, the spirit had it to where, based on how he worded his comment, it seems like he might not be with WFI anymore. So I wanted to do this lesson basically just to address this for yourself and anybody else that may be in your situation or in a similar situation, because as you can see, we're at the end, right? And the Lord said that, he would make his prophets known. See, the thing about the truth is the prophecy is going to speak for itself, right? And it's going to get to the point, which it is now, where it's undeniable, right? It's undeniable. And it's the other groups that especially concern the mark of the beast that break it down incorrectly, in the past, when technology wasn't at the level where it is now, when the direction wasn't focused on the digital, implant and digital currencies and so on and so forth, it was easier to say, oh, it's this or it's that and throw many things out there. But now it's harder and harder to do that because the world in itself and the events and the course of even secular history, right, or secular events are pointing directly to the Motb being the RFID micro, CHIP. So you can't refute it anymore. Okay. So I want to start off with a couple of precepts here, but, just in terms of advice on what to do here, what I'll do is I'll respond to this comment here. So if you're watching this video, after this video, once I upload this, I'm going to post the links to the GMS Vegas and Cali camps, their channel, as a response to your comment here. So, I'd say just like continue to watch. That's the first and foremost thing. And, you can reach out on the comment board, try to get in contact with them and see, what the next steps are from there. But the main important thing, which you even mentioned here, which is to correct the faulty breakdowns, right? To learn the correct doctrine I say prioritize that, right? That's the main thing you want to do. And there are a lot of videos that are out, that you can look for. Right now, I know sometimes YouTube does tend to take down brothers' channels, right? And different videos and breakdowns that have been put up, but there are still some that are up, and I also did, through the Spirit, I put together a playlist, or a couple of playlists, where if you go to my channel right there, you click playlist, you'll see basically pretty much all the breakdowns are there, right? From Genesis to Revelation, Apocrypha included, right? All the books, all the chapters, they're all in there. So you can use that as reference. Also, there's, I believe, GMS, is it archives? Yeah, GMS archives. You can also go there, and there are many other channels as well, that have videos of different breakdowns, okay, that you can reference, as well. I know the elder apostle Ramlab, he also has, his channel has been there for a while, so a lot of the breakdowns are on there as well. So I'd say just use those, right? Watch, focus on learning what the correct truth, right? As you mentioned, the 100% truth, focus on learning that, because that's, and first and foremost, pray to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, right? That he has mercy and he keeps, a right spirit upon you. And this isn't, once again, just to this brother, but anybody who's in a situation like this, whether it's WFI or ISUPK or IUIC or whatever group that you're in, you have to remember that your salvation is on the line here, right? If you are aware that what you are teaching or what your so-called leaders are teaching is not correct, and you continue to go along with it, others that hear you are going to and believe that, their blood is going to be on your hands, right? And you got to really think about it. Is this worth jeopardizing your salvation because you didn't have the courage, or you didn't want to be, excommunicated from whatever group you're with, or, called out, or maybe they do a video on you and they try to demonize you, whatever the case is that they do? You got to weigh that versus salvation, right? Weigh that versus deliverance. Weigh that versus, are you truly here to serve the Lord or not? Okay, and make the right decision, because as you can see, as we can all see, the time is very short, and these prophecies are picking up quick. So this is like the last the last call, and if you don't answer it, the Lord is not calling anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna get a couple of precepts here. Let's see, I'll just pull it up on my phone here, and we will start with Revelation chapter 22, verse 18. And it reads, "For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book." So if you teach an incorrect doctrine, you are either adding, that is the part that's incorrect, or you are taking away. Okay, because if the scriptures say this and we break it down correctly, and you say no, that's not what it is, and you remove that correctness from it because you are now trying to say it's something else, you're doing both, right? You're taking away the correct understanding, the meaning of what is written, and you are adding in there something that you either came up with, or something that you are trying to use to say that, or to try and disprove what the actual truth is. Okay, and that's in there, right, in Revelation 22. And you don't want to be guilty of that, but a lot of individuals, a lot of so-called leaders are guilty of that. Whether they don't see it, whether they are sold out, whether they do it through pride, whatever the case is. All right. Now, as far as you mentioned trying to join GMS, I think you mentioned in here, right, what's the process to join? As far as I'm aware, I don't think there's like a process, in the sense of like, it's not like you got to go to the bank and get this amount of money and come and deposit it here, and then go and change your name and then come like that's not what it is. So like I said, I'll post the links in there. You get in contact with brothers. Now I'm not aware of what the exact current state is on GMS accepting new brothers. So you're gonna have to speak to brothers there and find out if it's case by case or if it's just like no new members right now. Either way it goes, I'd say that just keep watching and relearning the correct breakdown, both for yourself and anybody that you may teach or speak to, right? That should be, priority on your list there. I have a couple more precepts here, and then Lord willing, that'll be it for this lesson. This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15, right? And it reads, study to shew thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So a part of why you have to study is if you actually take the time, right? The Spirit of the Lord dealing with you, of course, but you take the time and you read the scriptures, you're taught, obviously you're going to need teachers, but you behave like the church of Berea, right? You go and you look into what you were taught, you cross-reference it. Does it make sense? What about this? And then if you have questions, you go ahead and ask, right? Like the Apostle Tahar recently said, he said, look, whatever questions you got, just throw it on the comment board, go ahead and ask, because you do also have new members, right? A lot of more experienced and seasoned brothers already know, these things, know the breakdowns. It's like preaching to the choir, but you also have new members, right? Who back when, maybe 5, 7, 10 years ago, certain videos and breakdowns were there that brothers that were in the truth at the time had seen. Right now, they're not there, right? So somebody new may come in and they're just like, oh, I'm not sure what this means. I didn't even know there was a breakdown on this and so on. But when you study, right, going back to the point in 2 Timothy 2 and 15, when you study, you're able to actually detect when something makes sense or not. Honestly, if we're being real with ourselves, some of the variations of the breakdown of the Motb, if you really think about it in context of the verse and context of the scriptures and what's going on around the world today, it doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. It's very easy to disprove. And if you study, you'll be able to see that, right? But first and foremost, it's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. But the second part of this verse is why? So you show yourself approved unto God as a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Because if you're speaking the truth, the Lord will give you a mouth that your adversaries will not be able to gainsay nor resist. And you'll be able to correctly teach, right, the word of truth, which is of the utmost importance, right? The Lord deals with correctness. So one more precept here. This is the book of John. And like I said, I'm sure it's not just, this brother here, right? But a whole lot of others that either are in this situation right now or are, in this situation right now. And they're just, they're not vocalizing it. But if you see this video, hopefully it'll stir up your spirit so that you, even if you don't vocalize it, you just do the right thing, right? Take action and make sure that your actions are aligned with serving the Lord, not man or the eyes of man or the opinion of man. This is John chapter 10, verse 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. See, and that right there is the whole point, meaning that regardless of what group you may be in, if you are of the sheep of Yahushai, right? If you are of his flock, no matter what, he's going to draw you out. Okay, you're going to hear his voice through the true men of the Lord that are teaching and speaking in the spirit of Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, and you're going to be drawn to that because it's going to be the only thing that makes sense. And that spirit you won't get from those that aren't truly sent of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai to speak in righteousness and in truth and correctness. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll post those links in there, and hopefully, for yourself, anybody else that may be in this situation, hopefully this is, edifying and once again, right, it stirs up your spirit to, to make the right move. Okay, so with that, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.